Hey, Freedom Nation, it's Jeff here once again with another episode of the best of the Freedom Nation podcast. This episode is with my friend Cody Yeh. Cody is originally from Taiwan. He emigrated to Canada to go to school and became an engineer. And he was working just that normal, engineering life, working a lot of hours and making a good living. But he realized at some point that he didn't want to do that forever. And he began to use what we now say today as Freedom Day principles and began to buy real estate and eventually bought his Freedom Day. So I hope you enjoy this interview as much as I enjoyed it. And we'll be right back after the intro.
All in you. Everything you're looking for, it's all in you. You gotta believe that it's all in you. You're searching for, it's all in.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff here once again with the Freedom Nation podcast, and we have the honor of talking to Cody Yeh today, and he's up in Canada. So for those of us down in the Southwest and the South, we're getting roasted right now, and I'm assuming it's a little bit cooler up in your neck of the woods, Cody.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. I know, you know what, we have a lot of snowbirds, and we got jealous for you guys. In the winter, you guys get jealous at us in the summer. So I think we're even on that.
Yeah, we'll swap it out, right? Yeah, I think next summer I'm coming up to you in Canada because this year, after this year, I'm heading north next time.
Well, I'm from Toronto, so whenever you come by, you have my email, all that, you know where to reach me.
Love it, man. Well, look forward to it. So Cody is in the real estate business. So he's going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk some strategy, because once again, with Freedom Day, we always talk about creating your freedom engines. And one of those freedom engines is real estate. Find a way to start to generate money from a real estate portfolio. So we'll go or delve into his advice when it comes to that. And he also has a podcast, so he'll share that with you, and you can kind of keep your eyes out for that. So Cody, let's get started by, why don't you share your story with us?
Yeah, thanks for asking that opening question. So the short story is, I was born in Taiwan, a small country right beside China. Recently, there's been a lot of things in the news happening. But I came to Canada with a student visa at the age of 18. Right now I'm 31, right? When I came over, I think I can speak English until I was struggling really in the first year of university. I chose engineering as my major, at University of Toronto. Some of you guys might know that's one of the best school. I still going to ref for that. I call it the equivalent MIT in Canada. Rub it into a lot of people's face.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
The reason really I chose that is because I don't want to write reports, right? I thought I was good at math. So really I went into that. Then a few years in, I learned a lot about engineering, but what really draws my attention is what can this really do to my life at that stage? Because I know kind of like the engineering career path, graduate, work your way up the corporate ladder, eventually become a partner, work for 30 years, retire at 65, kind of that. But I thought it was be more to that. So I know that, from my standpoint, I look at all these donations that come into University of Toronto, and look at our building, engineering building, they're all really old. And when you walk on those wooden floor, it's all squeaky. When I go into the business center, like for the commerce people, they have all these nice buildings. I'm like, what's going on? I thought engineering is where you make the money. Then very soon I found out that engineering can have a good head start, but there's a limitation to that. So in second year, I started enrolling a lot of business courses, accounting, corporate finance, and all that. I learned about stocks, options, a little bit about real estate, but really I only learned about the pieces where they try to really make you another employee, to teach you how to calculate things, but not what's the impact I can make to you, right? So that's when my light bulb is like, I'm not really learning the real thing, the real system. I'm just becoming another gear in the machine, right? So fast forwarding, I graduated. I started working at the Honda, the car company. I want to become a Formula One driver at first, but I couldn't. My dad told me I don't have the environment. So the closest I can get to was engineer. I thought maybe one day I'll work for a Formula One company, right? But I was working as a project manager at Honda, and I was working a lot of overtime, like 400 to 800 hours of overtime. I thought that was it. You know what? I'm making six figures. I'm going to save up. I'm ahead in my life. I'll buy more real estate. I don't know why I'm buying, but I need to buy one because that's what people do.
Because that's what you're supposed to do, right?
That's what I'm supposed to do. So I work hard, really a lot of overtime, pay like my marginal tax rate was 55%. 54% up to that point, right? So it's kind of stupid.
Thank you, Canada.
And and during those time, I thought there's more to it. So I met a friend of a friend who actually was managing $50 million, kind of like a hedge fund manager from Taiwan. So I thought, hey, you know what? I can learn from her. So I can hire her as a coach. And because of the time difference with Taiwan and Canada, 12-hour, I can do as a second job. So that's how I started from 2015 to 2017. I was working full-time job, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I go home, wash up, stay in front of my computer for 5 to 6 hours, right? I spent 1 to 2 hours reading the news, digesting, 1 to 2 hours trading, 2 to 3 hours writing reports. While I was attending a lot of real estate seminars and learn everything outside of that, trying to climb the corporate ladder. Nice. And fast forwarding 2019, that's when I get up to the mid-management. I try to get closer to the city. I was managing 11 engineers, and I really, really was frustrated at my job in a way where I see things differently. But I understand from the business standpoint, they want to pay you the minimum and you produce the maximum, and doesn't really measure my results, right? No matter what I do, oh, you can do this. Why don't you do more? Right. So, and then I want to treat my engineers a certain way, but I wasn't given authority. So really that's where I'd be like, you know what, forget about it. And at that point, fortunately, I already have enough of the income, I learned about day trading and I started getting to stock option, like since, 2016, stabilize the strategy, right? At that point, my cash flow coming in from stock option investing already replaced my full-time income, six-figure income. So one day I just walk in and be like, you know what, forget about it. And at that point I have, a few properties down. So I'm like, you know what, what's the worst case? Really? Like, I will figure it out.
Go back and get a job.
And like, it was scary at that point, but now that looking back, that was the best decision because that really gave me the freedom to think. And I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but for me at that time, I have a girlfriend. I don't have a family. I don't have kids yet. So if I'm going to do something like that, that was the best time for me, right? I have fixed income already come in. Now I'm going to follow my passion and do my passion income, variable income from there. And I never look back from there.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So fast forward to today, what is it that you're primarily doing? Are you working with customers or are you just kind of running your own book?
Yeah, so that's a very great question. So I have multiple business. I have a real estate syndication. Both I'm the operating partner or sometimes I'm the capital partner as well. We've been doing that for years. And this year we are launching a real estate fund. Again, this is not to pitch or solicit, really just sharing what we're doing. We're not asking for money at this point. We're going through the legals right now, but we're going into invest into the US on a short-term rental strategy. We buy land, we built it up, build equity in, cash flow as well, and make money for our investor. And that's really our main focus, the biggest future. But what I've been doing for the last 3 years is really build up a good following, both on YouTube. We have our own podcast called High Income Earners, FIRE, Financial Independence and Retire Early. And also I have hundreds of students who want to learn how they can generate another stream of income, with just 30 minutes to 1 hour per week, right? And I've helped hundreds of them, and most of them are business owner, real estate investors throughout different stage of their career thing, right? So a lot of them has been able to replace their income and get their time back, get their freedom back, right? So Yeah, that's pretty much that. And there's other stuff where I do like wholesaling, flipping, and all that. But I will say, as a stock option investing coach, and the
Mhm.
real estate fund is the biggest focus this year.
Yeah. Those are the areas you're really focusing on now. So let's talk a little bit about, your strategy on real estate, because that is an interest area for a lot of our audience. How have how did you get started on the real estate side? And then what is it that you do differently today that you've kind of morphed to?
Yeah, that's a really great question. When I was the days between 2015 to 2017, when I first started
Mhm.
learning about real estate, right? I bought my first property, right? I remember I saved up $70,000. At that 25, I'm like, I was genius, right? I was working
Yeah.
really hard.
Mhm.
I was still living in a room. I rent a room in a house. I pay $600 per month. That's it. I live in a room and I save 70K, put it on my first house. That's how and I borrow, I think, another 50K from my mom. You
Mhm.
know, she's like, you need to get a house. I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
only have 70K. I don't think that's enough. So help me out a little bit. And then I started paying her back, $500, $1,000, $2,000 every month to pay her off. And we already
Mhm.
paid that off. But that's how I got started. Right. And
Okay.
then from there, build your first house, pull equity, buy the second one. Right. We buy the house, now make it into a legal duplex, right? A legal basement suite. Now the cash flow, we push up the value, we pull out more money, then we continue to buy more. And now we're buying a house, we're building a legal duplex, we build another house in the back. You guys call it kind of ADU, right? Additional dwelling
Mhm.
unit in the back, cash
Okay.
flow, push up the value and all that. And, that's why this year we have all those track record with my business partner. They're doing even the bigger stuff, right? The apartment buildings, the development, buying land, assemble them, site plan approval, build condos, right? So we're like, okay, with the market that's going on right now, what is the safest way? We want to really ride into this market on the way down, because that's how
Mhm.
a lot of hedge fund managers makes a lot of money. Even real estate
Yeah.
fund managers make a lot of money, is buy all the way down, make sure they can hold
Mhm.
it, get themselves at a good price, and then ride it up on the next 8, 10 years. And this is a time where they work the hardest. This is time not to
Mhm.
slack off. When the market is going up,
Yeah.
you can chill. This is a
Yeah.
time where we work really hard. People are going to be afraid. People are going to be in the, I don't want to give you money. I don't want to invest in all that. But this is time to get in, because only the savvy investors who knows what they're doing can raise the money and break that ice, break that, kind of frozen ice with a lot of investor, raise money, buy good property. And you might be only few ones that are dancing. So not a lot of
Mhm.
competitors out there, right? It's switching from the seller's market more to a balanced market, or maybe some market to a buyer's market, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, you said you're doing some work here in the States. I mean, do you do work all over Canada and the United States, or do you focus on the States primarily? Or
All my personal portfolio and my business partner's portfolio are in Toronto and east side
okay.
of Canada, like the
Yeah.
more maritime province. But
Mhm.
US, we have been doing research for the past 2 years, and it's really, really fascinating. We found that, we built a power team that really surprised us at how much freedom we have in US, how much
Okay.
freedom we have in tax, how much freedom we have in the legal structure, how much freedom in the financing,
Mhm.
right? A lot of things cannot be done in Canada could be done in US. So that makes it a lot more flexible for any of the investor. And we bring all this value to, our capital partners as well, right?
Yeah, and I mean, real estate's real estate. So I mean, the concept, what the concepts you're using work in any market or any country, basically. But yeah, I mean, if it's more favorable from a tax perspective and regulations and everything else, why not at that point? So
And the market is 10 times bigger.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the opportunity, and I think I personally think we're at a tipping point where I think it's going to go down for a while. Certain areas, I live in Austin, Texas, and I mean the
Nice.
real estate is still going up. It's just not going up at the clip that it was. But I personally think we're going to start to see some chinks in the armor here over the next 6 months to 2 years. We're going to start seeing a few areas go down, and I think those are going to be huge opportunities to go in and grab up some property.
Yeah, and opportunities is for the people who are ready, right? So that's why we're
Yeah.
setting everything up right now, have dry powders, and we're going in hard. And this is
Mm-hmm.
time. It's not like when things happen, when bank frees up all the credits and all that, and you're not ready. Sorry, you can't really do anything. The opportunity is there, but if you're ready, prepare for it. All the structure is there. Working with all the banks and your power team, it's just about pulling trigger. That's when you work 20
Yeah.
hours per day for that 1 year. You're set for the
Mm-hmm.
next 10, 20
Yeah.
years, right? So
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll be selling those properties off to somebody 10 years from now. That's, now the market's going up. Now I want to jump in and become a real estate investor.
yeah.
Okay, you could become that now. See ya. We'll take the profits.
Yeah. We don't know if we're going to sell, but the general idea is really be greedy when others are fearful, but knowing your
Yeah.
limit and don't over leverage. Have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
dry powder, right? Have to, like people say 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and we have a diversified portfolio. Some's going to be development, some's going to be already cash flowing and things like that to balance out the whole portfolio, right?
Yeah. Love it. Love it, man. Well, that sounds awesome. And I'd love to hear, what's going on with the real estate fund and everything else that you're working on. Is that going to be primarily for Canadian citizens, or is it going to be for US as well? Or?
Yeah. So because a lot of our truck workers right now in Canada, a lot of our capital partners are Canadian, but
Sure.
we already have to figure out how to, in the future, when we raise capital into our fund, Canadians can participate, and US is just a lot easier because we're going to set up our stuff in the US, in certain states that are very tax friendly. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just so amazed by the things we can do in US. Let's put it that way.
It is a wonderful place. We complain about it sometimes because, oh my God, the government's this. And I'm like, you haven't seen other markets. Trust me.
I came from
it's
Taiwan.
A whole different animal.
I came from Taiwan. I live in Canada for 13 years. I travel around the world, and US is where I put most of my money in. All my stock portfolio, all my hundreds of the stocks portfolios in US is because there's reason why we do that. And, we're still bullish long-term in the US because of the system that's built, attract all these high talented people, highly skilled people, all wants to invest and immigrate to US and Canada, but not other country, right? So human capital.
Yeah, it's a net negative to all other countries and a net positive to us in those cases. And if we can get our immigration issues out of the way and help people get in here easier. I mean, that's the problem. We get in our own way half the time of getting people in here. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, it's good to hear. I always love to hear somebody from the outside world looking in's perspective of it. And I've always said that the most patriotic people I know are people that have emigrated to the country because they've seen it in other places and realize that it's not.
We don't take it for granted, right?
No.
Yeah. So I came from Taiwan, right? Came to Canada. I see the opportunity. Now I go to US. Like, I don't know why. A lot of times, like, I think the media really describe US as a full capitalism, money hungry machine. Everyone's is ruthless. Well, whenever I go to US, no matter where I go, I'm like, people are really nice. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like maybe certain areas, but like capitalism is going to widen the gap. But really, a lot of people are really nice people. They're there to get things done and help you and all that. It's not like, we're not going to go into all the gun issues, all that, but really I think it's a little bit over exaggerated, right? Depending on the people we hang out with. All the people I hang out with are,
and in the end, I think the thing that I love about our system is, really, if you work hard, if you work hard and you educate yourself on strategies and techniques, just like you did, I mean, you could have been you were a very successful person working for Honda. You moved up fast and early in your career, were running all that, but you also spent a crap load of time outside of work educating yourself on other things and educating yourself on other investment vehicles and strategies and everything else so that you could get yourself to that point. And I mean, you probably could have left earlier. I mean, you waited until you actually got yourself to where your income was
just think if you'd have been able to go, hey, I'm going to go ahead and bail out even sooner and live off of, I only live off of a little amount of money as it is. Okay, now I'm just going to have more time to really focus and do that. And just,
I wish when I was younger, I have a better mentor and I was willing to pay for mentorship and all that. That will definitely shorten my horizon. And that's what I hear a lot from my students now is, there's opportunity costs, right? It's either time or it's either money. A lot of time, if you don't pay for it, you're going to learn it the hard way. You spend more time, you go in circles. If one deal goes wrong, your reputation goes to the dumpster, it's hard to get back up. So you rather pay a little bit more upfront or a bit more, whatever, but you really have that trajectory. If you do your due diligence, follow the right person, right? So, I don't think it's never too late for anyone. Right? Today I was playing golf right before this podcast. I try to play twice per week, really just hang out with people who has the freedom to hang out on the golf course. And there's a totally different crowd. I play tennis, I play golf. I want to play these games into 80, I'm 80 years old, maybe hundreds by the time the technology's advanced. But really the whole point is I try to hang out with people who has that kind of freedom already. I hang out with people who's already gone to the place where I want to be, right? Unfortunately, a lot of those people are a bit more mature and, mature in age and all that.
It's not normal to be financially free by age 30, but that's okay.
I reached out when I was 29. So, I lose a lot of friends around my age who are younger, but at the same time, I make a lot of great friends, like my students and, just people who has a different horizon, who has seen it, done it. Just like Cody, on the right track, you're doing the right thing, keep pushing it. Okay. And enjoy life too. Now, that's why they told me is like, Cody, you look like you're so happy.
But you also get to spend 2 days a week out playing golf when all your friends are sitting there hammering it out at work from 8 to 5 every day. And, slowly, the way I always put it is a lot of our audience are people that, hey, they're sitting there at work and you're slowly dying just a little bit every day as you go, and you're living life. And, I get to do the same. I mean, I basically said that I was no longer going to work 5 days a week. I'm going to work 4 days a week. So that means I have to be a lot more efficient in 4 days and have that one day to just spend with my wife and go hang out and do stuff.
Yeah. And I totally understand a lot of your audience, even myself, before I quit, have a lot of fear because I'm a first generation immigrant. I cannot go back and ask for more money. My mom was like, that was the money I give you. You better give it back. Every month you got to pay me back. I'm like, okay. So if I quit, I better have a good plan, at least cover all my expenses, right? The fixed income side. Then I can do my passionate project, all that. So I like, for a lot of people might not have the luxury as me, has the flexibility, they might have kids and all that, but you can still figure out your way. It's never really too late. And I think
even having kids. I mean, I always see, you talk to people, well, I wanted to travel around the world, but, I have kids now and I can't afford to do it. I'm like, okay, just come up with the number. What is the number it takes you to live your life? And then all you have to do is create an outside income that will do that, and you're free. And wouldn't it be amazing? I mean, you did it at age 18, of going to a completely other country. And, one, you knew the language, but you probably didn't know it as well as you thought you did. So you got thrown into the middle of it. And it's like, oh, crap, I can speak Spanish, but I really could not carry on a conversation if I needed to. But how much you grew just by doing that. How many people do you know that you went to school with that probably stayed in Taiwan and never left, and they don't have that, their horizon really hasn't broadened beyond where they're at.
And a lot of people who left Taiwan, came to Canada, finished your university, try to find a job, and they always find a reason to go back. Maybe they already have a family business, or to me, maybe that's just an easy way out.
Yeah, it's just easy to go back. It's easy to go back home.
Comfortable. Very comfortable.
Yeah, it's the comfortable way.
And they hang out with the old friends. And don't get me wrong, like I think there's something in the way yourself and myself are wired, or just the people we hang out with. We have the growth mindset, but we don't have the fear mindset. Do we have fear? Yeah, we have fear. We push it down because we're programming our brain to have abundance mindset. If you set the goal, We will figure it out. But if you have that, so much of that fear, that doubt, your action, your subconscious mind will tell you that's impossible. And you're getting, like you said, you're dying at work every day. A lot of people I know, they love their job. They don't want to quit. But if you don't like your job and you let that get to you every day, it will eat away your subconscious, eat away your confidence, eat away your dream. And I'm not even joking about that. I have employees that I try to hire them in their 40s, but their mindset is so set that, I have to let them go. I'm like, I try my best. I give you everything. And they're just I'm like, what's really stopping you from doing what I said? He's like, Cody, it's really my inside fear. I don't know what I'm fearful about, but I'm just so afraid of being rejected. And I don't know what I'm so afraid about. I'm not in my 30s anymore, 30s or 20s. They lost that passion, lost that fearness, that, like that fears, right? So that inner fire, I call it. So,
Well, but I mean, I think the way I look at it, what my fear was before, and I'm sure you felt the same way. My fear was, okay, this is the safe job. This is what I was trained to do, and so this is my safe job. And all I have to do is just keep working until I'm 65. And, then I'll get to live life and all that. And I think when I look at it now, and I've really been out on my own for about 8 years now. And in those 8 years, I spent 25 years before that working for somebody else and not taking that risk. And the funny part is today, the fear I have is more about the fear of going, crap, I got to go back and get a job somewhere. And I know I would be an absolutely horrible employee. I just am not, my brain isn't wired to be an employee anymore. So at the most, I would go back, get a job in enough time to be able to have some capital to be able to do what I do again. But I mean, I'm just like, I guess my brain is wired to go, okay, where can I make money? What can I do to make money? How can I make money? Where can I position capital to where it's generating cash flow?
And that's it, right? There's a boss. I just make a short form video yesterday. There's a difference between boss mentality, employee mentality, right? Employees just think, I want to make the most money. I want to do the least amount of work. I want to be the closest to my house so I don't have to commute. As a boss, as myself, maybe not everyone else, I don't care where you work. I don't care how long you work. Just give me results. Salary is all negotiable as long as you deliver. I'll tell you how much you make, how much that impact. I can give you a profit sharing if you're that good. I don't really care, but you have to deliver. I don't need you to show up, clock in, clock out, be a zombie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and what people don't seem to understand is you don't understand the concept of profit share. For us to have profit sharing, that means we have to make a profit. It's not just me, because the way it happens a lot of times here in the States, I don't know if it happens this way in Canada. I mean, the company just at the end of the year is like, well, we had some extra money, so we're just going to give it out to people. The way I work in my business, I'm like, hey, we calculate profit every quarter. And I have a profit account, and whatever's in that profit account, I get part of, and my team gets part of as well. And we just keep doing that on a quarterly basis. So if you want to make more, then we're going to put the hammer down. We're going to make a crap load more money, and we're going to load up that profit account. And we never take more than half of the profit account out at any given time. So we're going to take half of it out. We're going to divvy it up however I decide to divvy it up amongst us. And then that's going to just continue to grow every time. It gets more and it gets more and it gets more over time. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple equation.
I love it. I love it. And you share with your employees so they're motivated, but you got to show them it's like, hey, you got to deliver results, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You're not going to, and I run very small teams. So, with my new, the Freedom Day world and my new kind of focus in this world, I run a really, really small team. So we automate the world, as much as we possibly can so that we can grow the business, exponentially and scale it. And we all make lots more money in the end.
That's it, man. That's it. And I think that's already a huge shift for a lot of people. You and I understand because we run multiple business, but it might take people some time after always been an employee. They have like kind of those victim mindset, right? Yep. So there's definitely a mindset change, but it's not impossible. right? It just takes more time. The longer you're in that mindset, the longer it gets you to get out of that mindset.
And I mean, the other side of the coin though is you don't, what I tell people is if you enjoy your job, it's not a bad thing. It's okay if you enjoy your job and you want to keep working there. It's just a different mindset when you woke up one morning and you have more income coming in than you actually are making from your job. That's a different mindset. That's a whole different, and there's only two things that are going to happen. You're either going to be gloriously happy and probably the best employee that exists because you have no money stress at all. The company has no leverage over you at all. You're just working because you love it. Or you're going to be the worst possible employee because you don't have to be there and you hate what you do and you're probably going to leave and go someplace else. So, one of two things, but I don't think it's a bad thing. You don't have to go run a business. You can become an investor and still be an employee, but be an investor. It's the cash flow quadrant I talk a lot about on my show and in the books and everything else. I mean, I talk about, Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. You can be a business owner or you can be an investor. If you don't want to be a business owner and run a business or create a business, then be an investor. Do what you did. I mean, you did a lot of that before you even started your own business.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is a lot of people think that, hey, passive income is a very hot works out there. But really passive income, like all these passive things for, I run a team of 8 for my stock option. We have our team for real estate, all that. All those things used to done by me. So I know it inside out, but I know that I know it. So I'm building the system and ask the right people to build a system, knowing that one day I will not be doing it. I only focus on getting on this kind of podcast, do the most income generating thing that needs my face and my thinking and strategy, right? If you have that mindset, no matter how painful it is something, how active it is something, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? It just, you have to know how to hire, manage team and all that. And everything passive comes from active. Actively learning and knowing.
And you said, but you also stressed one thing, I think, and hopefully everybody caught that. You knew it yourself, but you also, instead of keeping it in your own head, you said, hey, I've got to build systems because I know I'm going to hire somebody to do this. So I needed to build a system. And that's Robert Kiyosaki's business. The B personality, I build systems and then I hire people that run those systems for me.
Yeah.
That's the important part. And it's still investing, but it's a business of investing at that point.
Yeah.
Love it, man. All right. So fast 5 questions here. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So first question, wake up in the morning, business is gone. You have $500 in your pocket, a laptop computer, place to live. What are you going to do first?
Do I still have my brain and my reputation?
You still have your brain. You still have all the knowledge in your head today.
Oh, that's easy now. Because what I built up, the followings, all that, that's easy now. I would say if this happened to me, let's say 10 years ago when I first graduated, I will get into sales and marketing because that is the most important skills. No matter people realize it or not, we are selling right now. Myself, I'm selling. You're at work. You're trying to get a promotion. You're selling yourself. Right. So if you don't master that job, you're really going to be, suffering and really hitting a lot of your target low. So I'm really going to get into sales and marketing. Maybe I'll become a real estate agent. I'm already a real estate agent, but I really only do stuff for myself and my, VIP clients and all that. But I'll get into sales roles, right? If I only have $500, you know what? I used to have to pay rent, crash at a friend's couch, whatever. I'll start doing sales work. Right. I know I have an engineering brain, but I'll start doing sales work because that's where you make the most money, really knows how the business work. You make money, you get paid.
And you get to control how much you're going to make too.
Exactly. Once you learn that, if you don't have sales and marketing, you don't have a business, period. Right. So once you get that out, you start making, that's a 200K, 300K, $500,000, whatever, you control it. From there, you can put money into passive, partner up with some real estate, put some money into stocks, options, put some money into insurance and all that. Then you have money to diverse because, because when you don't have the money, it's hard to even raise money because, you know, now I have a track record, but if you don't have track record, you got to do it yourself first to showcase you have money and skin in the game, right? So definitely I started with sales and marketing. And then once I start making a lot more money, I'll start putting money in a different bucket, right? Of helping me to get my time back, right? If I really lose everything and I only have $500 left.
That is awesome. Great answer, man. I love that one. What's the biggest business mistake you've ever made?
I'm still making every day, but I'll say the biggest one is I hire B or C players.
Okay.
The reason I said that is because I've hired A players, works out well. I pay a lot more, but I have no headaches.
Mm-hmm.
You ask for more, you deliver, or you're gone in 3 months, but they deliver. I hired B players before, trying to get them into A, trainable, take less time, less hand holding. I hire C players, painful, very nice people, don't have the right mindset, have the employee mindset, want you to teach them, spoon feed them, thinking you think they can become B or A, but they will never become B or A one day. So you spend a lot of money on them. You're losing money on hiring them. You're losing time and the focus on your team, training them. You get them all the resource that you pay for it, but there's no results. So the worst mistakes I make is hiring someone based on, you know, they're C players, but they're not A or B. That was my biggest mistake.
A buddy of mine that's from Arkansas down here, and he puts it a little bit different way. He said, I hire turkeys and expect them to be eagles.
Yes. Same result.
I mean, it's just, same result. I mean, it's just, I keep having turkeys and I keep trying to make them be eagles, and they just don't want to, they just won't become eagles for me.
Some people are just not a right fit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not everybody's wired the same way. And you know, you and I have businesses where I need somebody with a certain mindset. I can't have people that are employee mindset that work for me, because that's, you know, a lot of the employee mindset stuff is done by systems and automation. So I don't really need people to do that part. And, you know, I need people that are really willing to hustle and are interested in growing a business and everything else.
Agree.
What's a good book that you would recommend for our audience?
Oh, there's so many great books. The reason ones I've been listening to is called Never Split the Difference.
Yes.
You probably heard about that one. I thought it was a fluff when I first saw the book, but I give it a read. I think everyone should read it because it will really change the way you do sales, change the way you chat with friends and family, really understand where they're coming from and whether you are talking to their subconscious or you're just talking to a busy person, talking to a wall, really. And it will teach you a lot of tricks, not manipulating people, but truly understand the true motive of human and tackle it from there. And
if I remember, he's the one that was the FBI negotiator.
Yes,
right?
Yes, Chris.
Chris. That's awesome. Have you actually seen some of his YouTube videos?
It's a repeat of his book. I saw it, but
it is. It's a repeat of his book, but he's a scary dude. I mean, he literally, I mean, he's not manipulating you, but he's just so good at what he does that even through a YouTube video, it's like, holy crap, dude, I'll do anything you want me to do. Just stop talking.
Take my money. Just take my money.
Take my money. Whatever you want, I will give to you. Just stop talking to me because you scare me at this point. So that's awesome. I love that book. I actually, it's funny. I just happened to, when you were saying that, I was just thinking, I was going through my bookshelf because I'm doing a challenge right now, 52 books in 52 weeks.
Holy cow.
So I was going and pulling, I was pulling stuff off my bookshelf, and I saw that one. I'm like, well, I already read it, but it was one of those ones that kind of speaks to me at times because I like to go back and do that one. There's another one, everybody's message or something like that. It was another FBI guy that talks about body language and things like that. And I love FBI people because they're just freaky, weird, strange people.
Yeah, when you look up your touching
Yeah.
this side of the brain. If you look left or you look down, like things like that.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, and if you're talking to somebody and they look up, that means they're thinking. So they're thinking about a lie. And I mean, it's crazy stuff. I mean, it's funny because that book especially was like, okay, if a woman, you know, when you're talking to a woman, if they're playing with a necklace, that means that they're uncomfortable at that point and all that. So now that I know all that, I'm like, okay, stop it. Don't be uncomfortable around me. It's okay. So, what's a good tool that you use in your business every day? I always give the example. I'm an Evernote nut. So I mean, my world is Evernote in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I mean, we try different project managing tools. Like, you know, I have the typical email list of active campaign, you know, all those, you know, all the back end. I have Squarespace for my website and all that. But I'll say at the end of the day, as your team get bigger, you might need different tools, but I try to keep it as simple as possible. And so that everyone can have one place to go to. And right now, what works for me is still Google Drive.
Yeah.
I just put everything up here. I have a huge Google Drive. I pay extra for, I have 2 GB. Everything is up there. So if I'm away, someone asks me, he's like, just go to this folder. I send you the link, go there, grab it.
Google Drive.
Everything's there. And I can choose who has right access to this, that. And that just saved a lot of my time. And all my teams are well informed where everything is. And
That's awesome.
I would say Google Drive is the easiest thing. Yeah,
I mean, we use Trello for a lot of our stuff, but Google Trello. Drive is. I was a like dyed in the wool Dropbox guy, and
same thing.
As soon as I started really managing a team all over the world, you know, it was like Google Drive. Everybody can be in there. We can edit a document together.
Google Docs too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing I love is like you can be in a document and you're like, okay, let's jump on. What do you say? Okay, well, I'll type this in. Oh no, you tell me what you were talking about, blah, 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 you know, and it's edited on the fly instead of in Word where it's, you know, hey, I edited it and I have to go approve their edits, and just absolutely nuts. So that's awesome. Well, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you or learn a little bit more about you or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, really, if you, most people are probably going to go to my social media, right? Type in Cody, Cody. Last name is Yeh. If you type that in Google, first 3 pages, me as well. I took over it.
Nice.
And my website is going to come up. You can learn more about real estate, learn more about stock option investing. I don't chat a lot, you know, about the other strategies, you know, like the whole, you know, whole life insurance and all that. I'm not a broker or anything. I don't get referral fees, really just whatever I use. And I have a YouTube channel, Cody Yeh Investing. I have a podcast called High Income Earners FIRE, helping high income earners reach their financial independence and retire early. And just so many things. I think people who are really savvy can always find me online. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, cool, man. Thank you for joining us, Cody. And it was a wonderful conversation. I loved talking to you and hearing, you know, what's up in your world. And we cross paths quite a bit then, you know, in some of the things that we do. You're living the life that I want some of our folks to be able to do at that point. So I appreciate your time today. Look forward to keeping in contact with you. You'll go on my list of people I keep stalking as we go. So I just want to keep in connection with you because I love a lot of your ideas and where you're going.
I love it. And I might be in Texas by the end of the year. So I'll definitely give you a shout if I come.
Yeah, just shoot me an email and we can catch up and I'll show you around down here. Just don't come in the middle of summertime. It's 1,000 degrees.
That's too hot. Winter is better.
Yeah. Come down in winter. It'll be beautiful then.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And folks, as always, you know, wherever you're watching this out, make sure you comment, like, share, all that good stuff. We put these shows out on Tuesdays and Thursdays of every week. So make sure that you like, comment, share, get this message out to other people out there because there's lots of other people that are sitting there in their cubicles or sitting there at their kitchen table working from home that are looking for a way out and they need help and they need, you know, people like Cody to give them that extra boost to say, hey, get out and do it because you can. So thanks a lot. We'll see you guys back here next time.